Hello, good morning and welcome to the Virtual Village Hall. I'm Rachel from iPrinted, and today's printmaking technique comes straight from your recycling bin. It's called Collagraph. Now, like so many printmaking techniques, the word is derived from the Greek, colla meaning to glue and graph meaning to draw. Effectively what we're doing, we are making a collage from card and paper that you might find in your recycling bin that's about to be thrown away. And we are making a collage and then we're going to be printing with it. Now, normally with a collagraph, you need a very good printmaking press that applies a lot of pressure to get a good print. But I'm going to show you a little cheat of how you can use what's called a gel plate or a jelly plate to make a really good print. But more about that later, because there's a few things that we need to do first. So first of all, we need to start with a design. Then we need to get our cardboard together, we need to cut it, we need to stick it and make our printing plate. So what I'm going to do is pop you down so you can see exactly what I'm doing and what you need. So here I have my design. So carrying on the recycling theme, I've used an old bank statement envelope that had a bank statement in it. You'll also need a piece of tracing paper, a pencil, pair of scissors and a craft knife and a cutting board if you're using a craft knife. You'll also need various weights and types of cardboard. So keep the cardboard fairly thin, but what I've got here is, for example, I've got what used to have cat food in it. So some interesting stuff here. We've got some shiny, we've got a shiny side, we've got a little bit of corrugation going on, and we've also got the sort of inside that's more absorbent and a bit more rough. So that should be make some really interesting prints for us. I've got just some cardboard that used to be part of an envelope. This is a slightly thicker cardboard with a little bit of corrugation again. And also I've got just some parcel paper, some brown parcel paper that's going to create some really good textures and effects. So you don't have to stick to paper. You can also use things like bubble wrap, anything from bubble wrap right through to fabric to create your collagraph. But I'm going to stick with paper today and cardboard. You'll also need glue to stick your cardboard down. So that's how we make the actual collagraph. Then we are going to use what's called a gel plate. So a gel plate, you can buy them from any good art and craft shop. And if you look at it, it's quite rubbery. It's almost like you've put too much gelatin in jelly, although they don't contain any animal products. You can make your own as well using gelatin and also vegetarian gelatin. We've put a link in the caption above, so you'll be able to take you through to a tutorial, and that will show you how to make your jelly plate. But the one I'm using today is actually manufactured, but you can make one very well at home too. You'll also need some acrylic paint in your choice of colours, and also a roller, or what's also called a brayer. So let's go back to our design and we can start making our collagraph. So start with your design, just a rough sketch. I've then just gone over it in pen again so that I'm going to be able to see it through my tracing paper. And I'm just going to start with a good sharp pencil just by tracing the outline. You can use a printout as well. You don't have to take this from one of your own sketches. But think about how you can add texture and interest to your print. So I'm going for a jumping hare with the moon behind, and this is going to give you sort of an idea of a frosted halo that we've seen quite a lot of recently. So if you've just joined us this morning, we are making Collagraph prints. That basically means that we are making a collage using thin card and paper that we've got from our recycling bins, and then we're going to be using it to print. I always find the eye is really important. I sketched this eye so many times, you can see, before I actually got the eye just right. Just a little bit of shadow here. And then I want to have my hair jumping over onto the heel. And I'm just going to put this in to remind me that this is where the texture needs to go. So normally with a collagraph, the collage that you would be creating is in reverse. But because we're using a gel plate and we're going to be transferring the collagraph to the gel plate and then taking a print off of that, then the collage that we're going to be making needs to be the right way around. So if you're writing text, then make sure it's text as you can read it. For this, you don't need to do it in reverse. So that's my, just double check I've got all the elements in. Yep, that's the hair done. And now what I need to do is just trace on the other side so that I can easily transfer this to another piece, to a piece of card. I'm trying to do it in a logical way so that I remember which bits I've been over and which bits. Oh, did I go over that bit? I can't remember. I think I did, but I'm going to do this bit just again, just in case I didn't. It looks like I did. I got caught up in the moment and forgot. Okay. So now I take a piece of card. So this can be quite a strong piece of card, because this is going to form the base of the collage. And then just over to one side. Actually, I'm going to leave a little bit like that because I want to put some grass area in here, give it a bit of texture. Then I just need to go over again and transfer, as you can see, the pencil marks onto the piece of card. So I'm doing the whole design onto this piece of card, although I'm going to cut it out from different pieces, because when I go to stick those pieces on that I've cut out, I need to know where to put them. So this gives me a good guide as to where they need to go. I can't remember again if I did that bit. No, I didn't. Like so many printmaking techniques, all the work is in the preparation and the making up of the plate, and the actual printing itself just takes seconds, and it's exactly the same with Collagraph. Yes, I think that's all the bits done. So now I want to cut out the separate elements, being the frost halo around the moon, and also the hair itself. And I can use this bit of card because I'm only going to be cutting out this part here. So I should have enough pencil mark left on the other side to be able to get another print or another sort of transfer. Just start and then double check. Yeah, that should be fine. If you've found you've rubbed all the pencil off from the back, then just go in again. Just go over the back again and restart. I'm just going to double check. Yeah. I need to sharpen my pencil in a minute. So when you're thinking about which elements of your design you want to cut out, just remember that the parts of the collage that stand sort of more proud than others, they will be the colour of the paper that you're printing onto. So let's just, for example, say we're printing in black and white. So I'm going to have the hair standing out. So this will be more white, and then the background is going to be set back, so that will be black. So just bear those sort of things in mind as you're deciding which bits to cut out. And any texture that you make on the cardboard that's standing proud, that will take as well. It's a good idea to do a few samples before you go in with a real design, to get an idea of what creates the sort of textures that you're after and what works. Okay, and then, so I think we are ready to cut. So I'm going to start by cutting out this, which will form my printing plate. just leave that, see what this texture gives. Put that to one side, so this is where everything's going to be stuck on. And then I want to cut out, first of all, the frost halo. And I've just noticed that I should really be cutting this out totally separate to the hair, because that overlaps slightly. So I should have just drawn them separately, but just for today, I'm going to do that. So I want to add a little bit of texture to the frost ring so that it looks a bit misty. So I'm just going to fold and tear slightly to give a little bit of texture, to give that impression that it's not a solid line. I do it enough to create marks and rips, but not enough to totally destroy it. There we are. So flatten that out, and I'm going to start to glue straight away. So just using a glue stick. Stick that to our base. Leave that to one side while we cut out the hair. I'll go over those lines slightly. Noticed I've left the fiddly bits. I'm just going to go in with a craft knife, finish those off. and then the fluffy tail. Okay, so at the moment it's a very solid shape, so I want to rough it up. So I'm just going to use the craft knife just to create some texture for the fur, just around the edge. And where the sort of front legs come over into the body, I'm just going to use the craft knife just to make some lines in that, so that will show up more. And again here, just so there's a differentiation between the leg that's behind. Carry on roughing up that fur. Just take your time on this, make sure the blade is facing down. And then again with the tail, just going to rough that up a bit as well. So if you remember, I said that any parts of the collage that are set back, they're going to be printed in the black. So I'm just going to take the eye out with the craft knife and also the nose. Let's make that a little bit more. Go over that slightly. And then the same with the nose. There we are. So now I want to add a little bit of shadow here and here. So I'm going to use the packaging paper that I had, and rather than cutting, I'm going to tear this. So let's find a good crumpled up piece. And I want to put a piece here. So just following the contours of the hair. Glue that on, and then the same here for a bit of shadow. Oh, just need to. And I want to add a little bit onto the ears too. Should stick it the other way around, that would look better. So they're stuck down well. And just one last bit here. To show that that leg's behind as well. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that now goes onto here, but not before I do this, because this is slightly over. I just need to do just one more piece here, add some grass, and then I can do the final stick down. So I think I'm just going to, I use this because it's good and textured. I don't want too much of a straight line, but just to give me a guide. So I want it looking like a grassy bank. And believe it or not, this is actually a simple collagraph to do. I went the simple design, so they do take a while to do, but they are definitely worth it. So just let me give this a bit of texture and glue it down. It doesn't really matter which way up. And then just to create some grass. This will be a very stylized grass. Just going to very randomly stick these on. It might be quite nice to use some sort of fabric here as well, if you've got any kind of little fabric remnants. Just a few more. And then finally we need to stick the hair on, and you can now see why when we did the transfer initially onto the base of our collage, we made sure that we kept the hair in so that I know where to place it. It's just those little tips in printing where you're thinking a couple of steps ahead that really help with the final print. So add that on. Make sure that's well stuck down. and then that just needs to be left to dry. So I'm going to put that to one side and just very quickly talk about the gel plate with you. So if you missed the first bit, then this is what's called a gel plate or a jelly plate. You can buy them from all good art and craft stores, or you can also make your own, and we've put a link in the comment in the caption above, so that you can go to a tutorial to make your own. But it's really good for taking water-based paints and inks and making impressions and transfer prints. And what we're going to do now is use acrylic paint and a roller to ink up this jelly plate, and then use our collage or our collagraph to print. So the one I've just done isn't dry yet, so I'm going to show you one that I made earlier. So using exactly the same design, the hare jumping over onto a grassy bank with the moon and the frost halo around it. And I'm going to print with black, blue and green. And the great thing with the gel plates is that you can get this gorgeous colour merge and colour mixes. So you don't need a lot of paint for these. And I just want some green at the bottom. I might need a little bit more black, but we'll see how we get on. And then we're just going to bring that down. Take some of the ink. And then the green. Try and bring some of the blue up. So I've got my collage ready. I've got my paper to print on ready. Just plain paper. I'm going to stand up for this. Line up the collagraph on the gel plate and then just gently press it down. Don't have to press too hard. Just want to lightly make contact with the card and the paint. Bring it up and you'll just be able to see a bit of a design. Put the paper on, just using the palm of your hand. Make contact, not too hard, sort of firmly but not too hard. Make contact with the paint and the paper. And then peel the paper off to reveal your print. And I love the way that as the paper's pulled off, you end up with this kind of almost furry element in the and then that's one that I did earlier, just using more black with some green. And this collage can be used again and again and again. They're great for scrapbooking, for making cards, and a great way to recycle and reuse your card and paper that might otherwise end up in the recycling bin. So that is a brief guide on how to make a collograph using a gel plate. I hope that that's inspired you. It's over to you. Please, if you are printing today or this week, then please do send us your photos and your comments. You can just use the comments in just below the video to put your photos or your videos. We always love to see them here on the Virtual Village Hall. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you with another printmaking technique next time. See you soon. Take care. Bye.